Okay, hi everybody. Ciao Guido. Ciao Marco. Ciao Francesco. Ciao Alessandro. Hi. Ciao Mike. How are you? Thanks to be here with this FRACTAL AXE FX3 tutorial. I go very fast. What I wanted to show you now is some tips and tricks and also answer to your questions. The title of this tutorial is how to use with AXE FX3 2 amps and this let you have the minimum, practically zero gap, because when you switch in 2 amp you have no any lag. In AXE FX3 you have the lag, the audio lag is very low. But if you want to reduce to practically zero, you can have 2 amps because only AXE FX3 has this possibility. I would like to show you how you have to set up 2 amps to have to have 2 sounds. First of all, the important things is you set up the bypass mode as mute, not through, because the default the bypass mode is through. Because what's happened when you switch between 2 amps, when the other amps is switched off and the bypass mode is on through, okay, the direct signal pass in parallel with the amp. So you have to put 2 amps in parallel. Of course you can put in serial, but yes, this is true. In serial you have to let the true bypass mode enabled. But typically when you switch 2 blocks like amp in parallel, connected in parallel, you have to set up your blocks by mute. Otherwise the direct signal passes over the amp, and I would like to show you what is the effect. Okay, for example, this is the direct signal. If I let the true bypass in the background, you can hear the voice of the sound of the direct guitar. If I switch off the amp, the sound. And this is very bad. So please set the bypass mode as mute in even here. This is the correct way to use 2 amps if you want to have 2 amps and you want to alternate the sound of 2 amps. Of course, you can also enable 2 amps at the same time. Okay. You have the mixing of the amp 1 and amp 2, in this case clean and distortion. And this could be fun and okay, it's an alternative way, because the attack is from the clean amp. Okay, and the distortion is in the background. If you like, of course you can switch to other kind of amplifier. In any case, what is important is to understand that the important thing is to set up the bypass mode, because the default settings is on through, and you have to set up on mute. Okay, IFM3 mic, FM3 too bad it doesn't have 2 amps, but I will learn the other things you can do with just watching this tutorial. Yes, FM3 has only 1 amp. Okay, but I also the audio gap is very low to me, and can use FM3 on stage during my live gig and have any problem. Otherwise, you can use you can see the tutorial MF Chemics where I show how does it possible to use the clean amp and use distortion pedal to produce the distortion sounds. But it's up to you. Usually I use FM3 on stage, and I don't take care about the audio gap. You have to know before, and it's only a matter of to anticipate the sounds, the switching of the of the new between the clean and distortion sound. But to me is a non-problem, let's say. Okay, should be able to get the perfect token sound, George Lynch. I don't know, Mike. Maybe in the future I will try to reproduce the George Lynch. The problem is not to reproduce the sound; it's reproduce the playing. The playing is really amazing. Okay. Then, of course, in the same way, you can also have two kinds of amp block, a cabinet block. In this case, I use the same way of the real world, where I switch between two channels, clean and distortion. I have the volume block after the cabinet to increase is a boost of 2.4 dB for the lead. Okay, I switch on and off depending on the scene. For example, for the scene lead, okay, I switch on the volume block, and you can have more boost about 2.4, 2.6, what you want. Of course, you can decide as yourself. Of course, you can set up the scene's volume by the output block and select the scenes level. But I prefer to have a block here, and I would like because I like to switch on and off this block when I want, and I connect this block with a foot switch. Okay. So if you have if you wanted to have different cabinets, I can, for example, do this. Save preset. Okay, so save to another preset because I would like to show. In this case, I use, let's say, is a similar amp. Okay, the Euro Red Modern and Shiva Clean. It is Bogner based amp. It is like my old Bogner Ecstasy amplifier. But if I want to have a completely different amp, I create a new preset. Okay. I don't want to overwrite this one. Okay. In this case, I can have the second cabinet here. Okay. And the connection is, I have to cut this connection and connect the amp here and here. Okay, because I have this block after the cabinet. I will show you later on what is this block. Okay. In this case, I can select a completely different amp when I switch on the clean channel, for example. Okay. In this case, the path, the signal path is here. For example, I would like to use, I have already prepared, for example, the AC20 AF EF86 treble channel. This is very nice amp, and there is the proper cabinet for this amp. Maybe is the Lux 20, if I remember well. Yes, it should be this one. Okay, let's take this one. And so that you can have a completely different amp with his cabinet. So in this case, I switch even the amp and the cabinet. So I can pass from the, let's say, AC20 amp to the... Of course, I have to... another important thing, so you can still continue to hear the small gap. Because you have to be sure you don't change the amp channel during the scene switching. To check this, you can activate the block info, and you can see. You can see on the amp block that the channel change. So you have to keep the same channel activated, even during the switching. This is really important, because otherwise you can still have the audio gap. It's very small. Okay, I can continue this. You can take care of, cannot take care about this, but if you want to avoid any gap, you have to go to the block and select all scenes set to C channel. In the way, in all scenes, the channel remain C. No, doesn't work. No. Maybe. Okay. Why? Block. All scenes set to C. Let me check. Okay, now it works. So even no, doesn't work. I have to report this behavior because it's not correct. Because with this option, all scenes should be set to channel C. Now it works, but not before. No, doesn't work. So I have to do this manually. This is a bug, I think. Okay. 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 So now you don't have any gap. So now it's clear. So be sure that the channel of the amp block and the cabinet block remain the same during the scene changing. Okay. This is really important to avoid any little gap, but there is a very little gap, but if you want to avoid this little gap, as you can see, you have to be sure that all amps and cabinets blocks remain in the same channel. Okay? Ciao Zazze. You're a fantastic guitar player, buddy. Love your style, man. Thank you very much, Mike. Okay, so let's go ahead. And I have another trick to show you. It is I've already shown, but I repeat this trick. It is very useful because you can have with a single pedal assigned in this case to the FC. I have here the FC12 pedal board. I connect the EV2 pedal, the Fractal Audio EV2 pedal to the pedal 1, and I want to control volume, wah, and also whammy with the same pedal within the same preset. How can I do this? Very easy with the MPlex block. The MPlex block has only one parameter. It is the input select. It is like a rotary switch where you can decide how you drive the signal path. In this case, you can decide the row number 2. Row number 2 is here. Row number 3, this means that you get the signal from the wah, and row number 4 from the pitch block with the whammy. As you can see here, any channel has a different input select. So channel A has row 2, channel B has row 3, and channel channel C has row 4. So if I want, typically I have selected for the clean channel the volume functionality. And of course, in any block, you have to set up the control with the pedal 1, FC1, pedal 1, okay? Also in the wah, FC1, pedal 1, and also in the pitch block, because the signal path depends from the status of the MPlex block. This is really important. Ciao Andrea Colombo. Okay, so for example, in the scene 1, I have the row number 2. In the scene 4, I have row number 3. This means you can hear the wah effect. And on the scene number 5, I have the whammy. Simply by changing the scenes, scene number 1, scene number 4. Okay, how can I decide if I go to the clean channel, for example, now it's working like volume. If I wanted to work with the wah, I have to select the channel B. If I want to work with whammy, I have to assign the channel C. But I also have to enable the block. Of course, you can continue to use Ciao Evil. You can still to use the auto engage functionality, as you can see on the wah block. When the wah, in this case, I prefer also to to set the auto engage functionality with off value more than 19%. This is I already explained this one. Typically is the off value is 5%. This means that when the pedal is down, the wah is disengaged. But in this case, when I change the scene from a scene with the wah to a scene with the volume, of course, in the new scene, because the pedal is down, the volume is 0. To avoid this, I prefer to switch off the wah when the value of the wah is over 19%. So when the pedal is up. Okay, it's matter. It's up to you. Of course, you can do what you want. But in this case, I prefer. Okay. So I would like to also to show you how here you can see the effects, the ambient effects are all connected in parallel mode. You can see here there are the direct signals from the cabinets directly to the output. You can also continue the row with the send and return blocks. Send and return let you let's continue the rows in the lower rows. What is important is the return block has to the return level has to set up to 100%. Otherwise, typically, I don't know why, but by default, the return level is to 0. And for the first time, you don't you have some problems because you cannot you cannot understand why you have no signal when you use the send return functionality. Remember to set up to the return level to 0. I typically use this configuration because I like to reproduce the 3 amp functionality. So I wanted to let the dry signal as it is with no any effects, only the volume, of course, but volume is not an effect. It's only to boost, as I explained you, is only to boost the volume, and all effects are connected in parallel. Remember, when you connect any effects in parallel, you have to set the mix control, the mix knob to 100%, because no dry signal has to pass on this block. It is the same way of the 3 amp functionality. So you have the direct signal, the dry signal in the middle, and you have the ambient signal left and right. Okay, to do this, the mix has to set up to 100%, and you can control the delay level with the delay, the amount of delay with the level, or it's better to use the input gain. Using the input gains prevent the volume changing of the tails of the delay. So. And the parallel connection let you have a big amount of effect without overlapping the dry signal. Sorry. because typically when you have the delay in series, so the mix, when the mix pass over the 50%, the level of the effects remain the same, and the level of the dry signal is decreased. In this case, you can rise, you can go up with the level, and you have the delay signal more than the dry. Okay, so let's come back to for the same reason. Also, the plex delay is in parallel. Okay, instead to put all effects in parallel, I prefer to create like a serial and parallel, because I like to have the delay feedback that goes even to the dry signal, but also to the plex delay. So I like that also the repetition of the delay is also affected by the plex delay. The delay is not by 16, delay is 1.8 dot. 1.8 dotted. To have the typical David Gilmour or the age effect. Even the chorus is in the parallel with the same conditions. Mixer has to be set at 100%, and I control the chorus by the level. And you can also create some special effects by creating some special also parallel with this another plex delay. It is a plex shifter, okay, because it is connected. It comes from one link is missed. These effects bring the signal from the direct and from the chorus and go not on the parallel but only on the plex delay. This is very nice because the sound effect is this. It's different that I put this in parallel. I don't want to have this because there is some like a crystal delay. I want only to take the effect and go directly to the plex delay. It's like a pad in the background, very nice. And also I can take a portion of this signal affected on the flanger. Very nice. I can also use the looper to record this section. So now the looper is running. Yeah. Ciao Marco Aurelio. Even if you have a big amount of ambient effects, you can distinguish the lead sounds perfectly. This is the reason that I like so much to use the ambient effects in the parallel mode. Okay, very nice sound. Ciao Massimo. So, do you understand? If you realize this, if it's possible, I don't know. If you realize this link, if web, because it is a web, by series, you cannot have the same effect. So you can hear the effects are perfectly in stereo mode, but left and right, and the dry signal is in the middle. So you can hear how much effects I have in this preset, but you can distinguish very well any note I play, even the mistakes. Will Fractal be increasing the DSP with the FRACTAL FM3? I don't think so, Mike. I don't think so. FM3 is FM3. You have the same sound, but you have not the same powerful of the Axe FX3. And this is the reason, because Axe FX3 is more expensive, of course. Otherwise, you makes no sense to have a FM3 with the same powerful of Axe FX3 with the half price. It is the reason is absolutely clear. But one, okay, I can tell you that this kind of powerful depends up to you if you need or not. Typically, when I play with my band, I can use a FM3 without any problem. Of course, if you need more effects, more powerful, more ambience effects, and so on, Axe FX3 is absolutely, to me, the best modeler in the market at this moment. Okay, JC, ciao. What are you using monitor speaker, especially when you make a sound with Axe? In this moment, I'm using my in-ear monitor. It is customized and crafted in-ear monitor, or I use the Bayer Dynamic DT. But I use a different and several kind of monitors, and also I use my Red Sound monitor, Studio 8, and I continue to compare the sound between different sources. There is no one. So the big mistakes that many people do is to believe that you can use only one source to create your sound. This, to me, is absolutely untrue, and you have to use different sources because only to check with different in your car, for example, you have to listen the sound in your car, in the headphone, in the monitor, in a poor speakers, and in all speakers you can recognize your sound. This is not a secret. It is a matter of fact. To me, makes no sense to have the very, very expensive monitor in your studio. Very expensive monitor is necessary to understand the correct frequencies and so on. But at the end, your sound has to be good in every source you play your music. Credence, all right. Will Fractal be increasing with this? Okay. Play Dire Straits. I'm not able to play Dire Straits. Very nice sound and wonderful playing. Thank you very much. Okay. So. Okay. I have no other hints in this case. So, Mike Zimmer, I think they should make a floor unit with the power of the effect. Maybe yes, in the future. I don't know. At the moment, I'm not aware about new models. Maybe yes, maybe not. I don't know. Fractal is still in developing new firmwares, new units, and so on. Okay. So I play something else. If you have some other questions, please write. Tune up my guitar. put a pitch shift here to have some special effects. So you can see how many things you can do with this amazing unit. Playing with a looper, playing with a lot of effects. It's very, very funny. Okay. So thank you very much for your attention. Stay in touch, and see you next time with this tutorial. I wish for you the best, and see you next time. Thank you so much. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, guys.